My name is Dawn and I'm otherwise known online as SG Budget Babe. So today, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be sharing with you today how exactly I spot great stocks, because this is a question that I get really often from all of you, and I just thought it would be great to put it into a bite-sized video where you can watch it on your morning commute or your evening commute home and really learn how to analyze great stocks. So there's lots and lots of opportunity in the stock market, but if you want to become a successful long-term investor, I'll share with you the very first secret that you really need to know, and that is you need to understand the very number one top secret of all successful investors out there is that they don't think of themselves as buying stocks. They focus on buying the businesses. And once you understand this, you'll start looking at stocks as companies, as businesses, and the focus is on really understanding what drives the company, how exactly is their business model, how does the company meet the pain point of its consumers, of its customers, what kind of gap does the company feel in the market, who are its competitors, how does it stand up and hold out against them, and how exactly does the company make money from doing all of this. So when you really go in depth into the business behind the stock, that helps you to become a better investor in the long run. Because what led to the huge rise and what have been the companies that have been driving the rise in the stock markets over the last few years is always and will always be good companies. So that is the very first thing that you need to understand, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this today in this video as I share with you how exactly I pick my stocks and my thought process and analysis when it comes to really understanding and evaluating a company. So without further ado, let's get started. So I break my framework up in terms of the company's business, its financials, its valuations, and management. And before I go on any further, I just wanted to give a shout out to my friends at the Fifth Person. So the work that they're doing are great, and when I first attended one of their calls many years ago, the teachings that they had really had a strong, profound impact on me, and it reshaped, it helped to organize the way I actually structured my thoughts and analyzed companies. And I've always been using the BFVM model ever since. And today we're going to talk about that very first one, which is B for business. So what exactly is a business and how do you study that? Well, in my case, I actually break it up into a few steps, right? And that very first step is to identify wonderful companies, right? And what are some examples of wonderful companies? Now, I really think that Facebook is a great and wonderful company. I mean, look at its impact in our life, how strong it has become. I mean, it's literally the first thing I check in the morning when I wake up and the last thing I look at night before I go to bed. Another great company is that of Google, and their stock is on Alphabet. Now, Google is a fantastic company because we're now in the information age, and to be very honest, there's just so much information out there that it gets really hard to find and understand which information, where exactly is the information found, what is the reliable, the credible information, and what's trending. And there's just so many facets to all of that, you know, there's just so much data in the world that needs organizing, and Google is exactly in that business. They organize the information, the data of the world so that we can search it better. And I think that's great. You know, it's something that the information age really needs, and it's no surprise that because of that service that they're doing to us, they're grown and become a fantastic company today, and the shareholders have been really happy with the gains that Google has given them in the past few years. Now, another great company that I think does wonderful work is that of Disney. So that's right. I mean, how many of you guys here grew up with Disney as part of your childhood? I used to be singing those songs, and I had so many stickers and merchandise of all the Disney cartoons, the Disney shows and movies, and I was a crazy addict. I just love and devoured Disney content. And you know, I look at the children today, they are going through that same stage, and Disney is a maker of magic. The stories that they tell are so compelling. They really shape the narrative of our time, and they're just really so magical. I love every trip to Disneyland. I love the Disney stories, the Disney content that they produce. It keeps the children so entertained as well, and that's why I think Disney is another great and wonderful company, and I'm really happy to be owning and be a shareholder of all of these three companies. Now, the next step in my thought analysis process is I look at whether the company is profitable. Because if the company is a wonderful company, it does a great service that we really need, but unfortunately, it isn't really making cash. Now, that sort of companies I don't personally like, because what's the point of investing in non-profitable companies when there's a lot of profitable companies out there? At the end of the day, when it comes to investing, right, we only have that amount of capital. It's not like we have unlimited bullets. So we have to be a bit more strategic into where we deploy our investment bullets in. And between a non-profitable as well as a profitable company, I will always go for the profitable one. So that's my second criteria. Now, the third criteria that I will always look at is then whether or not the company has an economic moat. Because even if the company is a wonderful one and it is profitable and has been profitable, the question is whether they can remain profitable in the long-term future. And if the company doesn't have a strong economic moat that helps to shield it from the rest of the competition, that makes it hard for someone else to come in, disrupt their business and do exactly the same thing and steal away their competitors, then it may not be able to hold on to that market position, right? So some examples of companies that I really like with strong economic moats would be companies like Visa. Their moat is that almost like a total business, right? In today's economy, as we move towards cashless, Visa is one of the key processors of all of that cashless payments that's going around. So credit cards traditionally run on either Visa, MasterCard, or American Express, and Visa has been one of the strongest contenders in this space. So Visa has a great economic moat because you have to go in there, and it's not that easy for you to just go out and say, I'm gonna be the next Visa, right? I'm gonna be set up a business that's gonna disrupt them and steal away all of the customers, because Visa has taken so many years to build up their brand name, the trust, the credibility, so that people feel easy processing cash through them. And most importantly, Visa works with so many partners out there that distribution and network is not something that's easy for someone else to just come up and take away or replicate entirely. So Visa has a great economic moat that I love, and with the move towards more and more cashless payments and digital online payments, Visa is definitely on the right side of the future. Now, another company with great economic moat is Walmart. So Walmart has a low-cost economic moat, and that's why I really love shopping at Walmart, and the stuff there really offers great value because they're able to negotiate with their suppliers and get low costs given their huge economies of scale, and that gives them a strong economic moat to stand out against the rest of its competitors. Now, there are lots of other companies out there with economic moats, even in terms of this itself, that I mentioned Facebook, Google, and Disney. Their moats are also extremely strong. Disney has a great brand moat, right? Almost everyone knows the brand, and most of us love it. Most of us grew up with it. We grew up with that magic. We are fans of Disney. We love and consume and devour the content, and that brand is not something that you can just build up a snap overnight just like that. It's not that simple. When it comes to Google, it's the same thing, right? Now, Google has almost as though it's the verb. And when I was studying branding, our teacher used to always tell us that when a company names become a verb, that's when you know their brand is really super strong. And today, we'll be saying stuff like, oh no, I don't think I know that answer. Let me just go and Google that. Or in my group, we always say, let me ask my best friend Google. So it has really become such a strong everyday phrase in our life, and Google has a great moat when it comes to the search engine market online. Now, that's also Facebook. Because so many of our friends are on Facebook, we also have an account in order to keep up with their lives and what's happening. And because so many of us and our friends are on there, it just attracts more and more people to come on. So Facebook has a really strong network effect mode, right? So these are companies that are not only just wonderful in terms of their business model, they make money, and they have an economic moat that makes it harder for their competitors to come in and take away that business from them. Now, of course, you have to look at who exactly is your competitors. So this is the fourth step in my analysis when I study a company, and I really want to understand who exactly this company is up against. So if we look at Visa, for example, some of its common competitors are MasterCard and Amex. If you look at Disney, for instance, they're up against Netflix and other movie studios or content producers. So you need to understand who are they up against in order for you to better evaluate if that moat is really real and whether that translates to profits in terms of the market share, or it's really just imagine or something, a story that they say to you as part of their PR efforts, right? We have to make sure that we do our due diligence. So the fourth step is I will try to understand a little bit more about who their competitors are and how they stand out against them. And then finally, I'll go into my fifth criteria, which is what exactly are the tailwinds and the headwinds facing this business. Now, the tailwinds basically refers to the winds behind an aeroplane, right? And that helps to make the flight smoother, it helps to make it easier. And on the other hand, the headwinds are the ones coming at you. And if you have ever tried to run in the opposite direction against a strong wind, you'll find it's so much harder than running in the same direction. So these are the things that I'll look at, and the tailwind basically looks at things that would propel their growth and help them to grow even further. And ideally, I want a business that has lots and lots of tailwinds on its back. On the other hand, the headwinds refers to the obstacles, the limitation, and the threat and the risk to their business now or in the future. And that's something that I want to try and avoid. If a company has too much headwinds, it's not something that I would personally choose to invest in, and I try to stay away from these companies and instead go for companies that have strong tailwinds right on. So for example, Visa has great tailwinds, right? We're now all moving into the cashless society, and with the coronavirus causing a lot of us to work from home, lots of our payments are being processed online, and to do that, many of us use our credit card. A credit card usually is either Visa, MasterCard, or Amex, so they're in that right space because the more we move towards cashless society, the more Visa will benefit. The same thing goes for companies like Google. We are using Google a lot more, and I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but the way we used to search on Google was very much short form keyword focus, right? But today, Google has evolved and transformed their search algorithm for us to be able to ask long form questions as well. So you could ask, for example, and you could type into Google, where is the best place to buy children books in your country? Right? And Google would come up with results for that. Whereas in the past, how we used to search was best place, children's books, and country name. So things has changed a lot, and that as more and more people go online, more and more people use the internet and the power of all of that information out there to guide their decisions, Google is in a great place. That's a great tailwind for them to ride on. So again, these are the 5 steps that I personally use to identify companies, and I find that when I'm analyzing the stock to decide whether or not I want to invest in that company, I find these 5 steps to be a great framework to start thinking about what exactly is the business all about and how exactly is the competitive market like in order to make my decision. As a result, that's exactly how I analyze the business. So this is the very first step. Don't forget, there is also 3 other steps that I would personally go through in terms of analyzing in deeper detail their financials, valuation, and the quality of the management. And I'll talk about that in the next few videos. So go ahead and click like on this video if you enjoyed this content. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get notifications of when I upload the next video. And I'll share a little bit more about how exactly I read the financial statements and how you can do the same even if you're not the best at math, right? And before I end all, here's some links. Please go ahead and support them. If you want to understand a little bit more about who I am, my background, you can go over and click on this bit.ly link to learn from Budget Babe. And I also have my Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram community. So if you want to go ahead and stalk me there, feel free. And don't forget to click like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.